All right, my fellow dreamers and doers, or maybe my fellow dreamers and scrollers. Let's be real here, many of you, have slid into my DMs whispering, tell me your secret, tell me how you did it. And I tell you, honestly, genuinely, the secret is so simple, so painfully obvious, that most of you, yeah, you will probably just nod, chuckle, and then go back to scrolling TikTok. You think I'm kidding. I'm not. The harsh truth, the really ugly in your face truth is this. Your clock, my friend, is not just ticking, it is practically screaming, and for way too many of you, absolutely nothing is changing. You've got this beautiful, chaotic mess of ideas, ambitions, dreams swirling around in that brilliant brain of yours, but without action, without actually doing the damn thing, that epic, amazing life you've always envisioned. It is just going to start to fade, like a bad Instagram filter. Every single day you waffle, every single day you hesitate. That is another day. You're basically throwing your future self under the bus. And if you're not careful, if you don't wake up, your life is going to start looking like that beige wallpaper in your grandma's bathroom, flat, predictable, and frankly, completely uninspiring. This, my friends, is the brutal reality for almost everyone out there. I mean, seriously, how many people do you know who have been slogging it out in the exact same job for the past 5 years? Maybe, just maybe, if they were lucky, they got a couple of measly pay rises. And even after those raises, you look at their financial trajectory, and it is barely budging sometimes. It even dips. Why? Because the more those people earn, the more they just seem to spend. It is like a financial treadmill. You run faster, but you're still in the exact same spot. The absolute worst part of this whole circus, this whole messed up system, is that society has somehow normalized this pattern. They've brainwashed us into thinking that if we're not constantly grinding, constantly hustling in a way they approve of, then we're lazy. We don't have what it takes. We're just not built for success. But let me tell you something. If this has been you for the past 2, 3, 4, even 5 or more years, it does not, I repeat, does not have to be you this year. I don't buy into that, your lazy narrative for 1 second. I truly believe you're not lazy at all. You're just trapped. My friend, in a system, a meticulously designed system that is built to keep you spinning your wheels, forever stuck on that financial flat line. They want you to believe that slow, agonizing progress is the only way forward. So what you're feeling, that gnawing frustration, that quiet desperation, that is not laziness. It is a perfectly rational response to a path that was never ever designed to help you truly thrive. It is frustration with a cage, not with your own wings. Today, we're blowing that cage wide open. Today, we're talking about my personal 5-stage process, my blueprint, for escaping this trap, for kicking it to the curb, and for finally creating some real, tangible momentum in your life. So grab your drink, settle in, because we're about to get real. Stage 1, my friends, is what I lovingly call stagnation. And let's be honest, for 80% of you watching this right now, this is probably exactly where you are. You feel like you've been dropped into the deep end of the ocean with no swimming lessons, no floaties, and definitely no lifeguard. And guess what? That is exactly what happened. You finish school, you get that first real job, and then, poof, you're on your own. Figure it out, buddy. And so, what do? We play it safe. We cling to that one job, taking 0 chances, 0 risks, because, well, it is comfortable. It is familiar. Even if it is slowly sucking the life out of us, if you stay in this stage for too long, and trust me, many people do, you risk becoming a debt slave where your income, that hard, earned money, barely, just barely, keeps your head above water when it comes to monthly expenses. Right now, as we speak, the national debt clock, it is a terrifying thing to watch, is sitting at something like $36 trillion, and it is just climbing, second by second, tick, tick, tick. If that doesn't scream that our entire society is built on a mountain of debt, then frankly, I don't know what will. People are owning fewer houses, fewer cars, fewer of those little luxuries that make life worth living. The trend of renting instead of owning, it is growing like wildfire. And here is the kicker. This isn't just because times are changing. No, the elite, the ones pulling the strings. They've made their plans crystal clear. It is called the Great Reset. They want to shift power, all the power, away from us, the regular folks, by depriving us of ownership. They want to control everything themselves. Imagine, just for a second, the government owning your home, and then when you're away on vacation, they just let someone else live there. That is the future they're cooking up. And if they get their way, escaping society's trap, it is going to become nearly impossible. They've sold us this beautiful, tempting lie. Money doesn't make you happy. Oh, bless their hearts, that little gem. That psychological warfare was crafted by the rich. For the rich to control the poor. It keeps us dependent, keeps us docile, clinging to state pensions that barely cover a packet of crisps. In reality, my friends, money, cold hard cash, equals freedom, and freedom, real, unadulterated freedom, equals happiness. The rich, They're just going to keep getting richer. So, my question to you is this: why not just join them? Why not grab your piece of the pie if you can recognize this stagnation stage early? And that is the key, early. Then you can start taking those calculated risks, those strategic leaps, to get out before it is too late. Don't be another statistic, another face in the crowd, part of the 58% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. A number, by the way, that I predict is only going to skyrocket in the coming years. The very first action you take, it is the most crucial, the most impactful. Start by gaining full, absolute 100% control of your finances. I mean, truly understand where every single dollar goes. Track every penny you spend and be brutally honest with yourself about what is essential and what is just a fancy little luxury. Use that newfound awareness, that clarity to automate your savings. Set it and forget it, so you consistently stash away money each month, no matter how small the amount. At the end of the day, even your Xbox, that fancy little gaming console, is smart enough to save your game progress. So why on earth wouldn't you save your funds, your future, your freedom? The next stage, my friends, is called ignition. And believe it or not, more than 50% of people, more than half of humanity, never even make it to this stage. Which means if you're here, if you're actually taking those first steps, you're already starting to see a real difference between you and your friends. You're already ahead of the curve. At this stage, you're doing everything humanly possible to break out of that stagnation. But it is not easy because you've got a couple of major roadblocks, a couple of heavy chains holding you back first. And this is a tough one. Are your friends? They won't always. And I mean always. Like your new attitude, your new ambition, your new focus. Because your change, your evolution, it forces them to confront their own choices, their own stagnation. And that is painful, incredibly painful. So instead of rising to your level, they'll often try to drag you back down to theirs. Because that is the easier option for them. I'm sure you've experienced this. You tell a friend about some amazing achievement, some small victory, and they don't seem genuinely happy for you. Instead, they try to shift the conversation, make it all about them, or worse, they downplay your success. That is their insecurity talking, not your reality, the second issue you're going to face. And this is a silent killer, is inflation. Just keeping all that money you've so diligently saved in the bank that is actually going to slow you down in the long run. And it is going to create more stagnation stages along the way. How, you ask? Well, due to inflation, the purchasing power, the actual value of the cash sitting in your bank account, it diminishes. Year after year after year. Let me break it down for you. With some real numbers, let's say you've got $5,000 chilling in your bank account and it is not earning any interest. And let's say inflation is humming along at a pretty normal rate of 2.5% a year. Now fast forward 20 years. Your bank statement will still show $5,000, right? But here's the gut punch. That $5,000 will only be able to buy the same amount of stuff that just $3,051 could buy today. So, even though the numbers on your screen don't change, the real value, the actual buying power of your money, it shrinks because everything else gets more expensive. That is why saving money in a way that actually grows over time, that beats inflation, is so incredibly important. It is not just important, it is non-negotiable. Now, let's compare that to a scenario where you actually put your money to work, where you invest it. So, if you were to invest that same $5,000 into something like the SP 500, and let's assume a historical average 7% annual return, adjusted for inflation, the estimated value of your money after those same 20 years, it would grow to over $20,000. See the difference? It is like magic, but it is just math, however. And this is super important. There are no guarantees in investing. Investment returns can go up, they can go down, and past performance is absolutely not a guarantee of future results. Always remember that. But this example, this comparison, it truly shows the incredible power that compounding returns can have over time. Instead of just letting inflation slowly, silently eat away at your hard-earned cash, if you're feeling that spark, that desire to get involved with investing, then I highly recommend you check out the Trading 212 app. You can literally start investing with as little as £1 or €1. It is so accessible. Even if you can only manage to invest £5 or €5 per day for the next few months, it will make a world of difference. It will truly help you take those crucial first steps and permanently break out of that soul-crushing stagnation stage. And get this, since I was already planning to talk about Trading 212 anyway, I reached out to them just to see if they'd be interested in sponsoring this portion of the video. And guess what? They said yes. They're offering a free fractional share worth up to £100 to anyone who uses the code Tilbury when they create an account. Plus, you can snag even more free shares by inviting your friends. Both of you will get a free share as long as they fund their account. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested. Just remember, and this is a golden rule, only invest what you can truly afford to lose. And please, for the love of all that is holy, don't starve yourself of cash. because there is a lot more we need to do in the next stage. Next up, my ambitious friends, is the acceleration stage. This is where you're really starting to feel that momentum, that satisfying hum of progress. But here is the thing, what got you to this point? Those initial steps, those baby gains, they won't be enough to carry you to the next level, not unless you want to wait decades. And I mean decades to achieve true financial freedom. You need to fully, completely, 100% commit to taking advantage of current opportunities because they won't be around forever. They're fleeting, like a good meme. At this stage, there were 3 magical CS that I focused on, and let me tell you, they helped me accelerate my wealth dramatically: cash flow, connections, and confidence. Let's start with cash flow. You need a constant, steady, abundant supply of money flowing into your bank account, not just trickling, but flowing, so that you can use that money, that fuel, to generate even more wealth. Think of cash flow as the premium fuel for your financial engine. Without it, you're just sputtering. The absolute best way to generate significant cash flow is to start a side hustle, something that provides immediate income. And I'm not talking about some billion-dollar unicorn idea here. No, no, no. It can be a small, service-based side hustle with super low startup costs that meets a specific, urgent need, whether it is managing social media for local businesses, doing video editing for content creators, or running Facebook ads for small shops. Your goal, your singular focus, is to bring money in fast. If I were starting over today from scratch, I would 1000% set up a service-based business targeting other businesses, especially during times of economic uncertainty. Companies are always willing to pay for anything that boosts their profits, that gives them an edge. And if you can position yourself as someone who can deliver those results consistently, reliably, then you become indispensable. You become a superhero. Now for connections, surrounding yourself with the right people, and I mean the right people, can have a massive, massive impact on your trajectory. Your path to success. It is no coincidence that truly successful people, the ones you admire, often associate with others who have achieved similar, or even greater success. You know the old saying, surround yourself with 5 losers, and you'll be the 6th. Well, the inverse is also true. Surround yourself with 5 winners, and you'll probably be the 6th. Talking to like-minded individuals, people who get it, who are on a similar journey, it opens your eyes to new opportunities you never even knew existed. It motivates you to push harder, and it provides invaluable insights. Make a conscious effort to network on platforms like Instagram or LinkedIn, and don't you dare shy away from reaching out to people who inspire you. Just send that message. You never know. Finally, there is confidence. And let me tell you,